The wine hits him cold. Red liquid cascades down his face, soaking through the white button-down shirt he ironed 20 minutes ago. The fabric clings to his shoulders, his chest, transparent now against his brown skin. He doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just stands there while two police officers hold his head steady, one gripping his shoulder, the other tipping the bottle like they're watering a plant. The crowd erupts, clapping, laughing, phones raised high, recording every second. A woman in a pale rose dress covers her mouth, but her eyes shine with entertainment. A man in a navy blazer nudges his wife, grinning. Someone whistles. Someone else shouts, "Welcome to the neighborhood." Beside him, his 7-year-old daughter tugs his sleeve. "Daddy, stop them. Please." Her voice cracks. Tears stream down her cheeks, catching the afternoon sunlight. Her yellow sundress, the one she picked out this morning because it made her feel like sunshine, now feels like a spotlight on their humiliation. She pulls harder on his arm, but he doesn't move. His hands stay at his sides. Loose, controlled, like he's counting breaths instead of seconds. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The officer holding the bottle laughs, shaking out the last drops onto Kai Bennett's head. There we go. All done. No hard feelings, right? Kai's jaw tightens. Just barely. A muscle twitches near his temple, but his face stays blank. Empty. Like he's somewhere else entirely. Somewhere these people can't touch. His daughter sobs louder now, burying her face against his soaked shirt. The host of this backyard spectacle steps forward. Brock Wellington 3, teeth too white, smile too wide, hand already reaching for another champagne flute. He raises it high like a toast. Now you're officially welcomed to West Briar Heights. See? We're all friends here. Kai doesn't look at him. He looks past him, past the manicured hedges and the designer furniture, and the people who think cruelty is a tradition. His eyes scan the crowd slowly, deliberately, like he's memorizing faces. Badge numbers, angles of the phones still recording. Then he kneels, slowly, carefully. His knees hit the grass, and he's eye level with his daughter now. She's shaking, hands clutching his wet shirt, her braids coming loose from the yellow ribbons he tied this morning. He lifts one hand, steady, controlled, and wipes her tears with his thumb. "Look at me, baby." She hiccups, trying to catch her breath. "Look at me." She does. "We're okay," he whispers. "I promise." Her lip trembles. "But I know." His voice is soft, calm, the kind of calm that comes from training, not peace. "I know, but we're okay." He stands, still holding her hand. His shirt drips wine onto the grass. His hair is matted, sticky. He can smell it. Cheap Merlot, the kind that stains. The kind that leaves evidence. Brock laughs again, louder this time, playing to the crowd. "Come on, don't be so serious. It's just a little fun. Lighten up." Kai turns to him, slowly. His posture shifts, shoulders back, spine straight, chin level. Something changes in the air. The crowd feels it before they understand it. The laughter dies down. Just a little. Just enough. "Fun," Kai repeats. His voice is different now. Lower. Steady. The kind of voice that doesn't ask questions. It gives orders. "You think this is fun?" Brock's smile falters. Just for a second. "Yeah, man. It's tradition. Everyone who moves here gets the welcome treatment. Everyone." "Well," Brock glances at the officers, then back at Kai. "You know what I mean?" Kai doesn't respond. He just reaches into his pocket. Slowly, deliberately. The officers tense, hands moving toward their belts. The crowd goes quiet. Even the birds seem to stop singing. He pulls out a small leather case. Opens it. The badge catches the sunlight. Gold and unmistakable. FBI. The silence that follows is the loudest sound in the world. Brock's champagne glass slips from his fingers. It doesn't shatter, just thuds into the grass, spilling foam across his expensive shoes. The woman in the rose dress gasps. One of the officers goes pale, his hand frozen halfway to his radio. The other one takes a step back, eyes wide. Kai's voice cuts through the silence like a blade. "You just assaulted a federal officer during a racially motivated public humiliation. In front of witnesses. On camera." He looks at the officers. "Badge numbers. Now." No one moves. No one breathes. His daughter squeezes his hand tighter. And somewhere in the back of the crowd, a phone is still recording. Have you ever been judged by people who didn't know your story? Drop a comment if this already hits different. 6 months earlier, Kai Bennett woke up at 5:47 a.m., 3 minutes before his alarm. He always did. Old habits don't die. They just relocate. He lay still in the darkness of his new bedroom, listening to the sounds of West Briar Heights waking up. Sprinklers clicking on. A dog barking 2 houses down. The hum of a garbage truck making its rounds. Normal sounds. Safe sounds. The kind of sounds he moved here to hear. He sat up, feet hitting the cool hardwood floor, and stretched his neck until it cracked. The bed was too soft. He told the realtor that, but she insisted it came with the house, a luxury bonus. Luxury. He'd slept on concrete floors in Bogota. He'd slept in the back of surveillance vans in Detroit. Soft beds made him feel like he was sinking, but Serenity liked it. That's what mattered. He walked to her room and cracked the door. She was still asleep, curled up under her purple comforter, one arm wrapped around a stuffed giraffe named Mr. Tall. Her braids were messy. He'd have to redo them before school. He watched her chest rise and fall, steady and safe, and something tight in his own chest loosened. Just a little. She was breathing. She was here. That was enough. He closed the door quietly and headed downstairs. The kitchen still smelled like fresh paint. Everything here was new. The cabinets, the countertops, the refrigerator that beeped when you left the door open too long. He pulled out eggs, butter, bread, started the coffee maker, moved through the motions the way he used to move through crime scenes. Methodical, focused, aware of every detail. Outside the window, a jogger passed by. Middle-aged white man, expensive running shoes, wireless earbuds. Kai lifted his hand in a wave. The man looked right through him and kept running. Kai lowered his hand, turned back to the stove. He cracked 3 eggs into the pan, whisked them with a fork. The butter sizzled. The coffee machine gurgled. Somewhere upstairs, Serenity's alarm went off. A pop song she loved, something about sunshine and good vibes. He smiled despite himself. By the time she came downstairs, he had breakfast plated, scrambled eggs, toast with grape jelly, orange juice in her favorite cup, the one with the cartoon dolphin on it. She climbed into her chair, still rubbing her eyes, her pajamas wrinkled. Morning, baby. Morning, Daddy. She ate slowly, still half asleep. He sat across from her, sipping his coffee, black, no sugar, and watched her. She had her mother's eyes, dark brown, almost black, with long lashes that made her look older than 7. People always said she looked like him, but he saw Amara in every expression. The way she tilted her head when she was thinking. The way she hummed when she was happy. You okay? He asked. She nodded, mouth full of toast. Big day today? She swallowed. We're learning about butterflies. Butterflies, huh? Uh-huh. How they start as caterpillars and then they change. Metamorphosis. She wrinkled her nose. That's a big word. You're a smart girl. You can handle big words. She grinned, showing the gap where her front tooth used to be. He'd saved it in a plastic baggie in his drawer. He didn't know why. Maybe because losing teeth meant growing up, and he wasn't ready for that yet. They finished breakfast in comfortable silence. He washed the dishes while she ran upstairs to get dressed. The water was hot, almost scalding, but he didn't adjust it. He liked the heat. It reminded him he was awake, present, real. By 7:30, they were out the door. He drove her to school in his silver sedan, a used Camry with 90,000 miles on it. Nothing flashy, nothing that drew attention. The kind of car that blended in anywhere. The kind of car an undercover agent learned to love. The school parking lot was packed. SUVs and minivans lined up like a convoy, parents hustling kids out of back seats. Kai pulled into a spot near the back, away from the crowd. Serenity unbuckled her seatbelt and grabbed her backpack, purple with a glittery unicorn patch she'd sewn on herself. Have a good day, baby. You too, Daddy. She leaned over and kissed his cheek, then hopped out and ran toward the building. He watched her go, weaving between other kids, her braids bouncing. She waved at someone, a little girl with blonde pigtails. The girl waved back, smiling. Good. She was making friends. He waited until she disappeared inside, then pulled out of the lot. The drive back home took 8 minutes. He knew because he'd timed it. He knew the fastest route, the alternate routes, the routes with the fewest traffic lights. He knew where the police station was, the hospital, the fire department. He knew which neighbors had dogs, which ones had security cameras, which ones left their garage doors open at night. Old habits. He parked in the driveway and sat for a moment, hands still on the wheel. The house looked nice. 2 stories, white siding, black shutters. A porch with 2 rocking chairs he never used. A lawn he mowed every Saturday. It looked like peace. But peace was a performance. He knew that better than anyone. He got out, locked the car, and walked to the mailbox. Bills. Junk mail. A flyer for a neighborhood watch meeting. He flipped through it all, barely reading, then froze. At the bottom of the stack was a postcard. No return address. Just a photo of a beach, white sand, blue water, palm trees. On the back, in handwriting he didn't recognize. Still thinking about you. Hope you're adjusting well. No signature. His pulse kicked up, just slightly. He flipped the postcard over again, studied the photo, the handwriting, the postmark. Miami. 3 days ago. Someone knew where he was. He slid the postcard into his pocket and walked back to the house, eyes scanning the street. The jogger was gone. The dog had stopped barking. Everything looked normal. But normal was a lie. He unlocked the front door, stepped inside, and locked it behind him. Then he pulled out his phone and dialed a number he hadn't called in 6 months. It rang twice. Bennett. The voice on the other end was sharp, familiar. This better be important. Kai stared at the postcard in his hand. Someone found me. The line went quiet. Then, stay where you are. I'm sending someone. Kai hung up. He walked to the window and looked out at the perfect lawns, the perfect houses, the perfect neighborhood, and wondered how long perfect could last. Serenity didn't ask about Mommy often anymore. But when she did, it hit like a bullet Kai couldn't dodge. Daddy. He was folding laundry in the living room. Matching socks. Hers were small, covered in polka dots and stripes. His were plain black. He looked up. She was sitting on the couch, legs swinging, holding a drawing she'd made at school. A house. A tree. 2 stick figures holding hands. Yeah, baby? Do you think Mommy would like our new house? His hand stopped moving. The sock he was holding, purple with tiny stars, slipped through his fingers and landed on the floor. He didn't pick it up. He just looked at her, at the crayon drawing, at the 2 stick figures that were supposed to be them. Yeah, he said quietly. I think she would. Serenity tilted her head, studying the drawing like she was trying to see something hidden in it. Do you think she's mad we moved without her? Kai's chest tightened. He set down the laundry basket and sat beside her on the couch. She leaned into him automatically, the way she always did, and he wrapped his arm around her shoulders. She's not mad, he said. She wanted us to be happy. That's all she ever wanted. But she's not here. No, she's not here. Serenity was quiet for a moment. Then, where is she? He'd answered this question before. 12 times. 100. But never got easier. She's somewhere safe, he said. Somewhere she's not hurting anymore. Heaven. Maybe. I don't know what happens after. But I know she's not in pain. And I know she loved you more than anything in the world. Serenity nodded slowly. She didn't cry. She'd stopped crying about her mother 6 months ago, right around the time they moved. Kai didn't know if that was healing or just numbness. He wasn't sure there was a difference. She held up the drawing. I made this for her. Do you think she can see it? Yeah, baby. I think she can. She smiled, small, fragile, and set the drawing on the coffee table. Then she curled up against him, her head on his chest, and they sat like that for a long time. The laundry forgotten. The world outside moving on without them. Kai closed his eyes and let himself remember. The funeral. It rained that day. Hard, cold rain that turned the cemetery into a field of mud. He'd stood under a black umbrella, holding Serenity's hand, while the pastor read from a Bible Amara had never opened. She wasn't religious. She believed in justice, in truth, in doing the right thing even when it cost you. That's what killed her. She'd been a journalist. Investigative. Fearless. The kind of woman who chased stories into places most people wouldn't go. She'd been working on a piece about police corruption, off-duty cops running protection for drug dealers, taking cuts, covering up murders. Kai had warned her, told her to drop it, told her it was too dangerous. She didn't listen. She never did. They found her body in an alley 3 blocks from their apartment. 2 gunshots. No witnesses. No arrests. Just another unsolved case in a city full of them. Except Kai knew. He knew who ordered it. He knew which cops pulled the trigger. He knew because he'd been investigating the same network for 8 months, undercover, building a case from the inside. And when Amara's story went live, when she named names, published photos, exposed the whole operation, they killed her to send a message. The message was clear: stay quiet, or you're next. But Kai didn't stay quiet. He finished the case. Brought down 12 officers for dealers and a district attorney who'd been signing off on evidence tampering for years. He testified, wore a wire, risked everything. And when it was over, when the convictions came down and the headlines faded, he walked away. He couldn't do it anymore. Not without her. Not knowing that every case he closed, every criminal he locked up, might come back for his daughter the way they came back for Amara. So he requested a transfer, a desk job, something quiet, something safe. And when the FBI offered him extended leave instead, 6 months, full pay, counseling included, he took it. He packed up their apartment, sold everything that reminded him of her, bought a house in a neighborhood where no one knew his name, enrolled Serenity in a school with good test scores and a playground, tried to build a life that didn't revolve around violence. He thought it would help. He thought distance would make it easier. But grief doesn't respect geography. Daddy. He opened his eyes. Serenity was looking up at him, her face serious. Are you sad? Sometimes, he said honestly. Me too. She reached up and touched his cheek, her small hand warm against his skin. But we still have each other, right? Yeah, baby. We still have each other. She smiled. Then she grabbed the remote and turned on the TV, some cartoon about talking animals, and settled back against him. He kissed the top of her head and tried to focus on the screen. But all he could think about was the postcard in his pocket. Still thinking about you. Who sent it? Someone from the case? Someone he put away? Someone still watching, waiting for the right moment to finish what they started? He didn't know. But he knew one thing. Whoever it was, they'd made a mistake. Because Kai Bennett wasn't the same man who let his wife die while he was chasing ghosts in the dark. He was a father now, and fathers didn't run. They protected. Even if it meant going back to the life he swore he'd leave behind. The playground smelled like rubber mulch and sunscreen. Kai sat on a bench near the swings, watching Serenity climb the jungle gym with 3 other kids. She was laughing, really laughing, the kind of sound that made his chest feel less heavy. She'd been so quiet the first few weeks here, so careful, like she was afraid to take up too much space. But today she was loud, free. One of the kids, a little girl with blonde curls and a pink dress, waved at Serenity from the top of the slide. Serenity waved back, then climbed up to join her. They slid down together, shrieking, and landed in a heap at the bottom. Kai smiled. This was good. This was what he wanted. Is that your daughter? He looked up. A woman stood beside the bench, holding the hand of the same blonde girl Serenity had been playing with. She was in her 30s, maybe, with a friendly smile and a designer handbag that probably cost more than his car payment. Yeah, Kai said. That's Serenity. She's sweet. My niece hasn't stopped talking about her all week. The woman glanced toward the playground. I'm Vanessa, by the way. I don't think we've met. Kai, nice to meet you. She paused, like she was weighing her next words carefully. So, my brother's hosting a brunch this Saturday. Sort of a welcome thing for new neighbors. I know it's last minute, but I thought maybe you and Serenity would want to come. Kai's instincts kicked in immediately. He learned to read people a long time ago. Micro-expressions, tone, body language, and something about this woman's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. That's nice of you, he said slowly. But we're still getting settled. Maybe another time. Oh, come on. It's casual. Just neighbors getting to know each other. My brother loves hosting. He's very welcoming. There was something in the way she said welcoming, like it was code for something else. Who's your brother? Brock Wellington. You probably haven't met him yet. He lives right next door to you. Kai nodded. He'd seen Brock. Late 30s, expensive car, loud friends who came over every weekend. The kind of guy who mowed his lawn shirtless just to make sure everyone saw his gym membership was paying off. Yeah, Kai said. I've seen him around. So you'll come. Before he could answer, Serenity ran over, breathless and grinning. Daddy, Madison says I can come to her uncle's party. Can I? Please. Madison, the blonde girl, stood behind her, bouncing on her toes. Please, Mr. Bennett. It's going to be so fun. There's going to be games and food and everything. Kai looked at Serenity's face, at the hope shining in her eyes. The kind of hope he didn't want to crush. He glanced back at Vanessa. She was still smiling. Waiting. Sure, he said finally. We'll come. Serenity squealed and hugged him. Thank you, Daddy. Vanessa's smile widened. Great. Saturday at noon. Just come through the side gate. You can't miss it. She took Madison's hand and walked away, calling over her shoulder, See you then. Kai watched them go. Serenity tugged his sleeve. Are you excited, Daddy? Yeah, baby. I'm excited. But he wasn't, because every instinct he had, every lesson learned in a decade of undercover work, was screaming at him that this was a mistake. He thought about calling it off, making up an excuse, keeping them home where it was safe. But then Serenity looked up at him, still smiling, still hopeful, and he couldn't do it. Because how do you teach a kid to trust the world when you don't trust it yourself? How do you tell her that people aren't always what they seem, that kindness can be a trap, that sometimes the safest thing to do is stay invisible? You don't. You let her be 7. You let her believe in good neighbors and backyard parties and the possibility that this time, this place, might be different, even if you know better, even if you've seen what happens when people let their guard down. So he took her hand and walked back to the car, already planning routes, exits, backup plans, because maybe this brunch would be fine. Maybe Vanessa was just being nice. Maybe Brock Wellington was exactly what he seemed, a guy who liked hosting parties. But Kai had learned a long time ago that maybe wasn't good enough. Not when it came to his daughter. Not when the postcard in his pocket was still unanswered. Not when someone out there knew where he lived. He buckled Serenity into her seat, closed the door, and stood there for a moment, staring at the playground. Kids were still laughing. Parents were still chatting. Everything looked normal. But normal was just another word for not paying attention. And Kai Bennett had survived this long by paying attention to everything. Saturday was 4 days away. He had 4 days to decide if he was walking into a party or a trap. Kai ironed the white shirt 3 times before it looked right. No wrinkles, no creases, crisp and clean, the way his training officer used to inspect uniforms back at Quantico. He didn't know why it mattered. It was just a neighborhood brunch. Just neighbors. Just small talk and potato salad. But his gut wouldn't settle. He'd spent the last 3 nights running backgrounds. Casual searches. Nothing official. Just names, addresses, public records. Brock Wellington 3 came from money. Old money. The kind that bought silence and favors. His father owned half the commercial real estate in the county. His mother sat on charity boards and smiled for cameras. Brock himself had no record. No arrests. Not even a speeding ticket. Too clean. Kai had seen men like him before. Men who believed the rules didn't apply to them because they'd never had to follow them. Men who thought power was a birthright, not something you earned. He hung the shirt on the back of a chair and checked his phone. 11:47 a.m. 13 minutes. Serenity was already dressed. Yellow sundress, white sandals, hair braided into 2 neat rows. She sat on the edge of her bed, swinging her legs, clutching a small gift bag with tissue paper sticking out of the top. What's that? Kai asked. A present. From Madison's uncle. Mommy used to say you should always bring something when someone invites you over. Kai's throat tightened. What did you get him? A candle. It smells like vanilla. He smiled. That's real thoughtful, baby. She beamed. He reached down and adjusted one of her braids, smoothing a flyaway hair. You ready? Uh-huh. Remember what we talked about? She nodded seriously. Stay close to you. Don't go anywhere without telling you. And if something feels wrong, we leave. That's right. She tilted her head. Do you think something's going to feel wrong? No, he lied. I just like being careful. She accepted that without question. Kids always did. They trusted you to keep them safe, even when you weren't sure you could. He put on the white shirt, buttoned it slowly, tucked it in, checked himself in the mirror. He looked like a man going to a brunch. Not an agent. Not a father bracing for a fight. Good. They walked out together, hand in hand, across the lawn and through the side gate Vanessa had mentioned. The backyard opened up like a magazine spread. White tent, string lights, tables covered in linen. Maybe 40 people scattered across the grass, all holding champagne flutes, all dressed like they just stepped out of country club. Kai felt every eye turn toward them. Subtle, quick, then away. But he felt it. Serenity squeezed his hand. There's Madison. She started to pull away, but Kai held on. Wait. But Daddy, just stay close for a minute. Okay. She sighed but stayed. Brock appeared from the crowd, arms spread wide, smile bright and sharp. There he is, the man of mystery. Glad you could make it, neighbor. He stuck out his hand. Kai shook it. Firm grip. Too firm. Thanks for having us. Of course, of course. And this must be your daughter. Wow, she's beautiful. Looks just like you. Serenity held up the gift bag shyly. I brought you something. Brock's smile didn't falter, but something flickered behind his eyes. Oh, that's sweet. You didn't have to do that. He took the bag without looking inside and handed it off to someone behind him. Come on, let me introduce you around. He led them into the crowd, one hand on Kai's shoulder like they were old friends. People turned, smiled politely, shook hands. Names blurred together. John, Sandra, Michael, Tiffany. Everyone said the same thing. So nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood. How are you liking it so far? Kai answered on autopilot. It's great. Really quiet. Serenity loves her school. But the whole time, he was counting exits, scanning faces, noting who was drinking, who was watching, who was armed. 3 off-duty cops. He could tell by the way they stood, the way their eyes moved. One of them had a badge clipped to his belt, barely visible under his jacket, but Kai saw it. Why would off-duty cops be in neighborhood brunch? Excuse me. Kai turned. A woman in a pale rose dress stood beside him, wine glass in hand, smile thin. You're the one who moved into the Clarkson house, right? That's right. Interesting. She sipped her wine, eyes sharp. I didn't realize it was for rent. It's not. I bought it. Her smile tightened. Really? How ambitious? Kai didn't respond, just held her gaze until she looked away. Serenity tugged his hand. Daddy, can I go play with Madison? He looked down at her, then at Madison, standing a few feet away with Vanessa, then back at Serenity. Stay where I can see you. I will. She ran off, and Kai watched her go, every muscle in his body tense. Brock clapped his hands, loud enough to cut through the chatter. All right, everyone. Time for a little tradition. The crowd quieted, turned toward him. Kai's pulse kicked up. For those of you who don't know, Brock continued, grinning, we have a special way of welcoming new neighbors here in West Briar Heights. It's a little ceremony. Nothing crazy. Just a way to say, hey, you one of us now? People laughed, murmured approval. Kai didn't move. Brock looked right at him. Kai, buddy, come on up here. The crowd parted. Kai stayed where he was. Come on, don't be shy. Someone nudged him forward. He stepped into the center of the circle, every instinct screaming. Brock handed him a champagne flute. Here, first we toast. Kai took the glass but didn't drink. Brock raised his own. To new neighbors. May they find peace, community, and a place to belong. Everyone drank. Kai didn't. Brock's smile sharpened. You're not drinking? I don't drink. Not even for a toast. Not even for a toast. The crowd shifted. Uncomfortable. Amused. Brock laughed. All right. Suit yourself. But we're not done yet. He snapped his fingers. The 2 off-duty cops stepped forward. Kai's entire body went still. One of them was holding a wine bottle. The other was grinning. And somewhere in the crowd, Serenity turned to look. Her eyes went wide. Brock's voice cut through the silence. Cheerful and cruel. Now comes the fun part. Have you ever felt like you walked into something you couldn't walk out of? Comment below, what would you have done? The officer's hand lands on Kai's shoulder before he can react. Not rough. Not gentle. Just firm. Like he's done this 100 times before. The other officer moves to his left side, closing the angle, boxing him in. Both of them are smiling. The crowd is smiling. Brock is smiling widest of all. Relax, the first officer says. His breath smells like beer. It's just tradition. Kai's eyes flick to the wine bottle, then to Brock, then to the phones already rising in the crowd. Cameras aimed, fingers ready to record. I don't think so, Kai says quietly. The officer's grip tightens. Come on, man. Don't make this awkward. Let go of me. It's just a little wine. Everyone gets it. You're not special. The second officer laughs. Yeah, don't be so uptight. You'll look back on this and laugh. Kai's breathing slows. Deliberate. Controlled. The kind of breathing they taught him at Quantico when things went sideways. When you had to stay calm while the world tried to break you. He scans the crowd again. 40 people. 3 exits. 2 armed officers. 1 daughter. Serenity is standing next to Madison, frozen. Her eyes are locked on him, wide and scared. Her hands are clenched at her sides. The yellow dress suddenly too bright, too visible. Kai meets her gaze. Holds it. Nods once. It's okay. I'm okay. She doesn't look convinced. Brock steps closer, wine bottle in hand now. He's still grinning, but there's something else underneath it. Something sharp. Something that enjoys this. Look, Kai, I get it. You're new here. You don't know how we do things yet. But this is how we welcome people. It's harmless. It's fun. And after this, you're one of us. One of you. Yeah, a neighbor. A friend. Brock tilts his head. Unless you think you're too good for that. The crowd murmurs. Someone laughs. Someone else whispers. Kai doesn't move. Doesn't blink. Just stands there, calculating. If he fights back, they'll call it assault. If he walks away, they'll follow. If he does nothing, they'll humiliate him in front of his daughter and 40 witnesses. There's no good choice. So he chooses the one that keeps Serenity safe. He stays still. Brock's grin widens. There we go. See? Not so hard. He uncorks the wine bottle. The sound is loud in the sudden silence. Pop hiss. The smell hits Kai immediately. Cheap red wine, the kind that stains. The first officer adjusts his grip, holding Kai's shoulder steady. The second officer moves behind him, one hand on the back of his neck. Not hard enough to hurt, just hard enough to keep him in place. Brock raises the bottle high. To our newest neighbor. The crowd cheers, and then the wine starts to pour. Cold, heavy, soaking through his hair, running down his face, dripping onto the white shirt he ironed 3 times. It smells sour, sticks to his skin, seeps into his collar. He doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just stands there while they laugh. Someone shouts, "Welcome to the neighborhood." Someone else claps. The woman in the rose dress raises her glass. Now you really belong. Kai's jaw tightens. His fists clench at his sides. Every muscle in his body wants to move, to react, to end this. But he doesn't, because the moment he does, everything changes. The moment he fights back, he's not a father protecting his daughter. He's a threat, an aggressor, a black man attacking white cops at a backyard party. So he breathes, counts, waits. The wine keeps pouring, and then he hears it. "Daddy, stop them. Please." Serenity's voice cracks through the noise. High, desperate, terrified. He turns his head, just slightly, and sees her. She's crying now, tears streaming down her face, hands reaching toward him. Madison is trying to hold her back, but Serenity pulls free and runs. "Daddy!" She grabs his arm, tugging, sobbing. "Stop. Stop it. Leave him alone." The crowd goes quiet, just for a second, just long enough for the phones to zoom in, for the moment to crystallize into something nobody can take back. Brock lowers the bottle. Empty now. He's still smiling, but it's strained. "Hey kid, it's okay. We're just having fun." "It's not fun." Serenity screams. "You're being mean." Vanessa steps forward, voice too bright. "Sweetie, it's just a game. Your dad's fine. Look, he's not even upset." Serenity looks up at Kai. Her face is red, her braids coming loose. "Daddy." He kneels. Slowly, the wine drips off his chin onto the grass. He takes her hands in his, squeezes gently. "I'm okay, baby. But they... I know, but I'm okay." Her lip trembles. "Why didn't you stop them?" He wipes her tears with his thumb. His hands are steady, calm, like none of this matters. Like he's not standing in front of 40 people who just watched him get humiliated for sport. Because sometimes, he says quietly, you have to let people show you who they really are. She doesn't understand. How could she? She's 7. But the crowd understands. The laughter dies. The smiles fade. The phones stop recording, or maybe they don't. Kai doesn't care anymore. He stands, still holding Serenity's hand. His shirt is ruined. His hair is matted. He can feel the wine drying on his skin, sticky and cold. The officers step back, hands off him now, suddenly unsure. Brock clears his throat. All right, well, that's it. You're officially welcomed. He tries to laugh. Nobody joins him. No hard feelings, right? Kai looks at him, really looks at him, at the expensive watch, the tailored shirt, the confidence that comes from never facing consequences. No hard feelings, Kai says. But his voice is different now. Lower, controlled, the kind of voice that doesn't ask, the kind of voice that gives orders. Brock's smile falters. Good, good. So we're cool. Kai doesn't answer. He just reaches into his pocket. Slowly, deliberately. The officers tense. Hands move toward belts. The crowd holds its breath. And Kai pulls out a small leather case. What would you do if you were in Kai's position? Drop your answer in the comments. The badge sits in his palm like a verdict. Gold. Federal. Unmistakable. FBI. The silence that follows is absolute. No birds. No wind. No breath. Just 40 people staring at 3 letters that rewrite everything they thought they knew. Brock's champagne glass slips from his hand. It doesn't shatter, just thuds into the grass, foam spreading across his Italian loafers. His mouth opens, closes, opens again. No words come out. The woman in the rose dress drops her wine glass. This one does shatter. Crystal exploding against the patio stones. Red wine splashing like blood. The officers freeze, hands halfway to their radios. Eyes wide, faces draining of color so fast, it looks like time-lapse footage. Kai doesn't move, doesn't speak, just lets him see it, lets him understand what they just did. Who they just did it to. The badge catches the sunlight, reflects it back. Cold, official, permanent. Serenity stares up at him, confusion flickering across her tear-streaked face. She's never seen this side of him, the side that doesn't cook breakfast or braid hair or read bedtime stories, the side that hunted cartels in Colombia, that testified against dirty cops in Detroit, that survived 8 years undercover because he knew how to wait, how to watch, how to let people hang themselves with their own rope. Brock's voice cracks. He tries again. You can't be serious. Kai's eyes shift to him. Slow, deliberate. You think this is a joke? No, I mean, we were just what? Kai's voice is quiet, controlled, the kind of quiet that makes people nervous. Just assaulting a federal officer? Just orchestrating a racially motivated public humiliation? Just using off-duty police to intimidate a black man in front of his child? Brock's face goes from pale to gray. It wasn't like that. It was tradition. Everyone gets it. We were just. Everyone. Kai looks around the crowd. Scans faces, locks eyes with 3 different people. Show me one other person here who's had wine poured on their head. 1. Nobody speaks. Nobody moves. The phones are still out, still recording. But now they're not documenting a joke. They're documenting evidence. Kai turns to the officers. His voice drops another octave. Badge numbers. Now, the first officer, the one who held his shoulder, swallows hard. His hand is still near his radio. Frozen there. Look, man, we didn't know. Badge numbers. We were off duty. This wasn't official. You're wearing your badges. Kai points. The metal gleams under the officer's jacket, which means you're representing your department, which means every action you take reflects on that department, including participating in the assault and public humiliation of a federal officer. The second officer steps back. We didn't touch you. You held my neck. Kai's eyes don't leave his face. You restrained me while your friend poured wine on my head. That's battery. That's assault. And since you're both law enforcement, that's abuse of authority. It was just a prank. Does she look like she thinks it's a prank? Kai gestures to Serenity. She's still crying. Quietly now. Her hands grip his soaked shirt, her face pressed against his side. Her whole body is shaking. The officer's face crumbles. I didn't mean. We weren't trying to. Badge. Numbers. Now. The first officer reaches for his badge with trembling hands. Reads off the numbers. Kai doesn't write them down. Doesn't pull out a phone. Just listens. Memorizes. The way he memorized license plates and safe house addresses and the names of men who thought they were untouchable. The second officer does the same. His voice cracks halfway through. Kai nods. Thank you. He turns back to Brock. You organized this? Brock's hands are shaking. I didn't know you were FBI. If you'd known, you wouldn't have done it? Kai steps closer. Not threatening. Just closing distance. So you only humiliate people you think are powerless? No, that's not what You invited me here to make a fool of me. In front of your friends. In front of my daughter. You used police officers to intimidate me. You recorded it. You laughed. Kai's voice stays level. Calm. But every word lands like a gavel. You did all of that because you looked at me and decided I was someone you could disrespect without consequences. Brock opens his mouth. Closes it. He's sweating now. Pale and sweating. Like a man realizing he just walked into a room with no exits. I didn't. It wasn't about what? Kai waits. Lets the silence stretch. Lets Brock squirm. Say it. It wasn't about race. Then what was it about? Brock has no answer. Kai nods slowly. That's what I thought. He looks around the crowd one more time. 40 faces. 40 witnesses. 40 people who watched and did nothing. Here's what happens next. I'm going to file a report. Every person here who recorded this, every phone, every camera, that's evidence. The officers will be investigated. He looks at Brock. You'll be hearing from the Bureau. And if I find out this has happened to anyone else in this neighborhood, if I find out this is how you treat people you think can't fight back, I will make it my personal mission to ensure you understand what accountability looks like. Brock's knees look like they might give out. Please. I have a family. A business. This will ruin me. Kai's expression doesn't change. You should have thought about that before you decided humiliation was a tradition. He turns to leave. Serenity's hand tight in his. But he stops after 3 steps. Looks back over his shoulder. One more thing. The crowd leans in. Waiting. You don't know who people are. You don't know what they've survived. You don't know what they're capable of. His eyes sweep across every face. Never mistake silence for weakness. Never mistake humility for powerlessness. And never assume that the quietest person in the room is the one you should underestimate. He walks away. Serenity walks beside him, her hand in his, her breathing steadying. She looks up at him as they reach the gate. Daddy. Yeah, baby. Are you a superhero? He almost smiles. No, I'm just your dad. But you stopped them. I didn't stop them. He pushes the gate open. I just showed them who they really are. Sometimes that's enough. They step through. The gate closes behind them. And for a moment, he hears nothing from the backyard. No voices. No movement. Just silence. Then someone starts crying. Then someone starts arguing. Then chaos. But Kai and Serenity are already gone. If this moment gave you chills, you're not alone. Drop a comment if you've ever had to stand up when everyone thought you'd stay down. Monday morning, Kai walks into the FBI field office downtown. He hasn't been here in 6 months. Hasn't wanted to be here. The fluorescent lights are too bright. The air smells like burnt coffee and stress, and everyone moves like they're late for something they can't name. It's exactly how he remembers it. The receptionist looks up when he approaches the desk. Her eyes widen. Agent Bennett? Morning, Crystal. I thought you were on leave. I was. He sets his credentials on the counter. I need to see Director Qasim. She hesitates. He's in a meeting. Tell him I'm here. Agent Bennett. Tell him. She picks up the phone. 30 seconds later, she's nodding and hanging up. He'll see you now. Kai takes the elevator to the 4th floor. The doors open, and he's hit with a wall of memories. Briefing rooms where he planned ops. Interrogation rooms where he broke suspects. Desks where he filed reports at 3 in the morning because the work never stopped, and neither did the guilt. He walks to the director's office. The door is open. Director Qasim, 52, former Marine, zero tolerance for nonsense, sits behind his desk, reading something on his computer. He doesn't look up when Kai enters. Close the door. Kai does. Kasim keeps reading for another 10 seconds. Then he leans back in his chair and finally meets Kai's eyes. You filed a report Saturday night. Assault, battery, abuse of authority, racial intimidation. Yes, sir. Against 2 off-duty officers and a civilian. Yes, sir. Kasim's jaw tightens. You were supposed to be on leave, staying out of trouble, healing, spending time with your daughter. I was. Clearly. Kai doesn't respond. Just stands there, posture straight, hands at his sides. The way he used to stand during debriefings. The way you stand when you know you did the right thing and you're waiting for someone to tell you it was wrong. Kasim sighs, rubs his temples. I read the report. I watched the videos. All 12 of them. Every angle. Every second. He pauses. You handled it well. Kai blinks. Sir, you didn't escalate. You didn't retaliate. You documented everything, stayed calm, protected your daughter, and made sure the law was on your side. Kasim leans forward. That's exactly what I would have done. Just slightly. But, Kasim continues, you also just painted a target on your back. Those officers have friends. Brock Wellington has family. Rich family. Connected family. The kind of family that makes phone calls and files lawsuits and makes your life very difficult. I know. Do you? Kasim stands, walks to the window, looks out at the city. Because this isn't like undercover work, Bennett. You can't just disappear when it gets messy. You live there. Your daughter goes to school there. They know where you are. I know. Then why did you do it? Kai is quiet for a moment. Then, because if I didn't, she would have learned that staying quiet is how you survive. And I didn't move to that neighborhood to teach her how to survive. I moved there to teach her how to live. Kasim turns, looks at him for a long time. Then he nods. All right. The investigation starts today. Internal Affairs will handle the officers. I'll personally oversee the rest. You'll need to give a formal statement, and we'll need copies of every video. Already sent them. Of course you did. Kasim almost smiles. Anything else I should know? Kai reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out the postcard, sets it on the desk. Kasim picks it up, reads the back. His expression hardens. When did you get this? Thursday. 3 days before the brunch. You think it's connected? I don't know, but someone knows where I live. And someone decided to humiliate me in front of 40 witnesses 3 days later. Kai meets his eyes. That's not a coincidence. Kasim sets the postcard down. I'll have it analyzed. In the meantime, you need to be careful. I'm always careful. No. Kasim's voice is firm. You're always prepared. There's a difference. Careful means avoiding danger. Prepared means surviving it. And right now, you've got a daughter who needs you to do both. Kai nods. Understood. Good. Kasim walked back to his desk. Sits. How is she? Serenity? Yeah. Kai thinks about Saturday night. About how she asked if he was a superhero. About how she slept in his bed that night, curled up against him, her hand clutching his shirt like she was afraid he'd disappear. She's processing, he says finally. That's all any of us can do. Kasim opens a drawer, pulls out a file. I'm reinstating you. Effective immediately. Sir, I still have 2 months of leave. You're wasted on leave. And after this weekend, you've proven you're ready to come back. I don't want to come back. Kasim looks up. Why not? Because every case I work puts her at risk. Every criminal I lock up, every network I dismantle, every person I testify against, they all have friends. Family. People who hold grudges. And I can't, his voice catches. Just for a second. I can't lose her the way I lost Amara. The office goes quiet. Kasim sets the file down. You think staying on leave keeps her safe? I think it keeps me out of the crossfire. Bennett. Kasim's voice softens. You were never in the crossfire. You're the crossfire. Men like you don't get to hide. You tried. You moved. You changed your life. And what happened? Someone still found you. Someone still came for you. He pauses. You can't outrun what you are. I can try. You can. But trying and succeeding are 2 different things. Kasim picks up the postcard again. Whoever sent this isn't going away. And whatever happens next, you'll be ready for it. Because that's what you do. That's who you are. Kai stares at the postcard. At the beach. The palm trees. The blue water that looks like peace, but feels like a warning. What if I'm not ready? Then fake it. Kasim slides the file across the desk. Until you are. Kai picks it up, opens it. Inside is a case summary. A new investigation. 3 months old. Active. High priority. He closes it. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. The world doesn't wait for people to be ready. Kasim nods toward the door. Go home. Be with your daughter. And Bennett. Sir, you did good. Saturday. What you did, standing there, taking it, making sure she saw you stay strong. That's the kind of thing she'll remember her whole life. Kai nods, turns to leave, and Bennett. He stops, looks back. Next time someone pours wine on your head. Kasim's mouth twitches, almost a smile. You have my permission to remind them why they shouldn't. Kai walks out of the office, takes the elevator down, steps onto the street, and for the first time in 6 months, he feels like himself again. Not the grieving husband, not the exhausted father, just Kai Bennett, FBI agent, protector, survivor, and whoever sent that postcard. They just made the biggest mistake of their life. Do you think Kai should go back to the FBI? Or stay focused on protecting Serenity? Let us know in the comments. 3 weeks later, the neighborhood watch meeting happens without Brock Wellington. Kai stands at the back of the room, arms crossed, watching as 47 residents sit in folding chairs, discussing security cameras and street lights, and who's been parking on the wrong side of the street. Nobody mentions the brunch. Nobody mentions the wine. Nobody mentions the investigation that's now in its 3rd week with no sign of slowing down. But everyone knows. He can see it in the way they avoid his eyes, the way conversations stop when he walks by, the way Vanessa no longer brings Madison to the playground when Serenity's there. Good. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them remember what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. After the meeting ends, a woman approaches him. Older, maybe 60, with gray hair and kind eyes. She extends her hand. Mr. Bennett? He shakes it. Yes, ma'am. I'm Dorothy. I live 4 houses down from you. She glances around, making sure no one's listening. I just want to say thank you. For what? For what you did. At the brunch. She lowers her voice. My grandson is black. He and his wife were thinking about moving here, but I told them not to because of things like that. Things people don't talk about, but everyone knows. She squeezes his hand. You standing up the way you did, it matters. More than you know. I was just protecting my daughter. You were protecting all of us. She smiles. Don't let them make you feel like you did something wrong. You didn't. She walks away before he can respond. He drives home in silence. Serenity's at a sleepover, her first one since they moved here. He wasn't sure about it at first, but she begged, and the parents seemed trustworthy. So he said yes, because she deserved normal. She deserved friends and sleepovers and a childhood that wasn't defined by what happened to her mother. The house is empty when he gets there. Dark, quiet. He turns on the lights, checks the locks, sets his keys on the counter. Then he sits at the kitchen table and stares at the case file Director Kasim gave him 3 weeks ago. He still hasn't opened it. Hasn't decided if he's going back. Because going back means putting Serenity at risk. And staying means letting criminals walk free. And he doesn't know which choice he can live with. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. He stares at it for 3 rings. Then answers. Bennett. Silence. Then breathing. Then a voice he doesn't recognize. Low. Male. Calm. You made a mistake. Kai's entire body goes still. Who is this? You should have stayed quiet. Should have taken the joke. Should have moved on. Who is this? But you didn't. You filed a report. Started an investigation. Made enemies. The voice pauses. Now you've got consequences. He stands. Moves to the window. Scans the street. Nothing. Empty. Dark. If you're trying to scare me, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm telling you what's coming. The voice is almost friendly, like they're discussing the weather. You think you're safe because you're FBI? You think that badge protects you? It's protected me this long. Has it? The voice laughs. Soft. Cold. Where was it when your wife died? Kai's hand tightens on the phone. That's what I thought. The voice sharpens. You've got one chance. Drop the investigation. Apologize to Brock. Tell your daughter this was all a misunderstanding. And maybe You get to keep the life you're trying to build. And if I don't, then we take it from you, piece by piece, starting with the thing you love most. The line goes dead. Kai stands there, phone pressed to his ear, heart pounding. Then he moves. Fast. Grabs his keys, his gun, his badge, runs to the car, calls Serenity's friend's house. It rings 4 times. 5. 6. Hello. A woman's voice. Tired. Confused. This is Kai Bennett. Is my daughter there? Yes, she's. I'm coming to get her. Now. Is everything okay? He hangs up, drives faster than he should, runs every yellow light. His mind is racing, calculating, preparing for every worst-case scenario. They threatened her. Whoever sent the postcard, whoever called just now, they know about Serenity. They know where she is. And they just told him exactly what they're willing to do. He pulls up to the house 12 minutes later. Serenity's already on the porch, confused, holding her overnight bag. Her friend's mom stands beside her, worried. Is everything okay? The woman asks again. Family emergency, Kai says. He takes Serenity's hand. Thank you for having her. Of course. I hope everything's. He's already walking to the car. Serenity climbs into the back seat, buckling herself in. Daddy, what's wrong? Nothing, baby. Just needed you home. But I was having fun. I know. I'm sorry. She's quiet for a moment. Then, did something bad happen? He looks at her in the rearview mirror. Her eyes are wide, worried, too aware for 7 years old. No, he lies. Everything's fine. But everything's not fine, because someone just declared war. And Kai Bennett knows exactly how wars end. One side wins. The other side loses. And he's never been good at losing. The gun is already in Kai's hand before the voice finishes speaking. He moves through the house, checking every window, every door, every lock. The phone stays pressed to his ear. The voice keeps talking. You're wasting time. Checking locks won't save her. Kai doesn't respond. He climbs the stairs, opens Serenity's door. Her bed is still made from this morning. Her stuffed bear sits on the pillow. The window is locked. The alarm is armed. She's at school right now, isn't she? The voice sounds amused. Wilson Elementary. Mrs. Parker's 2nd grade class. Room 104. Right next to the playground. Kai's blood turns to ice. 23 kids in that class. Your daughter's the smallest one. Sits in the back row by the window. Loves to draw during reading time. Kai runs. Down the stairs. Out the door. Into the car. Engine roaring before his seatbelt clicks. The phone stays on speaker. The voice keeps talking. You have 30 minutes. Maybe less. Depends on traffic. If you touch her, you'll what? File another report? Call your director? You're not in control here, Bennett. You never were. Kai weaves through traffic. 60 miles per hour in a residential zone. 70. The school is 15 minutes away. He makes it in 8. He parks sideways across 2 spots. Doesn't lock the car. Just runs. The front office secretary looks up, startled. I need my daughter. Serenity Bennett. Room 104. Sir, is there an emergency? Now. His badge is already out. The secretary's eyes widen. She picks up the phone, calls the classroom. 30 seconds later, Mrs. Parker appears in the hallway with Serenity. His daughter looks confused. Daddy? What's wrong? He scoops her up, holds her tight, checks her over. No bruises. No scratches. No fear in her eyes yet. We're leaving. But school isn't. We're leaving now. Mrs. Parker steps forward. Mr. Bennett, I need to know what's happening. Lock down the school. Now. Don't let anyone in or out until I call you back. Sir, I can't just do it. His voice cuts through her protest. Someone made a threat against my daughter. Lock it down. Contact the police. Do it now. Her face goes pale. She nods. Runs. Kai carries Serenity to the car. Buckles her in. Gets behind the wheel. His hands are shaking. He grips the steering wheel hard enough to hurt. The phone buzzes. Unknown number. He answers. Puts it on speaker. Smart move. But you're only delaying the inevitable. Serenity looks at the phone. Then at her father. Daddy, who is that? Nobody, baby. Just close your eyes for me. But, close your eyes. She does. Kai's voice drops to a whisper. You listen to me very carefully. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if you come near my daughter again, if you even think about her, I will find you. And what happens next won't be an arrest. It won't be an investigation. It will be something you don't come back from." The voice laughs. Big words from a scared man. "I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of what I'll become if you push me." "Then maybe you should have thought about that before you started a war you can't win." The line goes dead. Kai sits there, engine running, daughter in the back seat, gun on the passenger seat. His mind races through every possibility, every angle, every threat assessment he learned at Quantico. This isn't random. This isn't about the brunch anymore. Someone wants him gone. Someone with resources. Someone who knows too much. His phone rings again. "Director Qasim, where are you?" "Leaving the school. I've got Serenity." "Good. We just got a hit on the burner phone. It pinged off a tower 3 blocks from your house. Whoever called you is close." Kai's eyes snap to the rearview mirror. Scans the street behind him. Nothing suspicious. Just parents dropping off kids. Crossing guards. Normal morning traffic. They're watching me. Better than that. We traced the number. Cross-referenced it with property records in West Briar Heights. Qasim pauses. "Kai, it's Judge Marcus Henley. He lives 6 houses down from you." Kai's hands tighten on the wheel. A federal judge. Someone with immunity. Someone untouchable. Or so he thought. What do we have on him? Enough. Financial records show unexplained deposits. Wire transfers for shell companies. Meeting logs that don't match his calendar. He's been running this neighborhood like his personal kingdom for 8 years. The architect. That's what they call him. And Brock just gave us everything. Wore the wire to a meeting an hour ago. Got Henley on tape admitting to conspiracy, intimidation, and making threats against a federal officer's child. Where is he now? Still at home. Doesn't know we're coming. FBI's mobilizing as we speak. SWAT team's en route. We'll have him in custody within the hour. I want to be there. Absolutely not. You're too close to this. Qasim, you've got your daughter in the car. Your job right now is to keep her safe. Let us handle Henley. Kai looks at Serenity in the mirror. She's watching him with those big brown eyes. Waiting. Fine. But I want updates. Every step. You'll get them. The call ends. Kai drives. Not home. Not to a safe house. To the one place he knows Serenity feels safe. Dorothy's house. The older woman from the neighborhood watched meeting answers after 2 knocks. Takes one look at Kai's face and opens the door wider. Bring her in. He carries Serenity inside. Sets her on the couch. Dorothy brings hot chocolate and cookies. Serenity's hands wrap around the mug, still shaking slightly. Daddy has to go take care of something, Kai says. But Miss Dorothy's going to stay with you. Just for a little while. You're leaving? Serenity's voice is small. Not for long. I promise. You always say that. He kneels in front of her. Takes her hands. This time is different. This time, when I come back, the bad people will be gone. For good. You promise? I promise. She hugs him tight. He holds her for a long moment. Then pulls back. Looks at Dorothy. Don't open the door for anyone. Federal agents will be posted outside within 10 minutes. Dorothy nods. She'll be safe here. Quizá Serenity's forehead. Then leaves. He drives back toward his house. Passes it. Keeps going. 6 houses down. Judge Marcus Henley's mansion sits on a corner lot. 3 stories. Marble columns. Manicured lawn. The kind of house that screams money and power. Kai parks across the street. Watches. 5 minutes later, 3 black SUVs pull up. No sirens. No lights. Just quiet efficiency. Agents in tactical gear pour out. Surround the house. One team takes the front. Another the back. A third positions at the sides. Director Qasim steps out of the lead vehicle. Sees Kai's car. Walks over. I told you to stay away. I'm across the street. That's away. Qasim sighs. You can watch. But you don't move. Understood. Understood. The team leader gives the signal. They breach the front door. 30 seconds of silence. Then voices. Shouting. Movement. 2 minutes later, they bring Judge Marcus Henley out in handcuffs. He's still in his silk robe. Expensive slippers. Hair perfectly styled. He doesn't look scared. Just annoyed. Like this is an inconvenience he'll have corrected by lunch. Then he sees Kai. His expression changes. The confidence cracks. Just for a second. Just long enough for Kai to see the fear underneath. Kai steps out his car, walks across the street, stops 10 feet from where the agents are loading Henley into the SUV. You made a mistake, Kai says quietly. Henley straightens, tries to salvage his dignity. I have no idea what you're talking about. You threaten my daughter. You use your position to intimidate a federal officer. You orchestrated a campaign of harassment because you thought I was someone who couldn't fight back. Prove it. Kai pulls out his phone, plays the recording. Henley's voice fills the air. Clear, unmistakable, confessing everything. The color drains from Henley's face. That's what I thought, Kai says. You spend your whole life thinking you're untouchable, that your money and your power and your connections make you immune. But you forgot something. What's that? The law doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care about your connections. And it definitely doesn't care about your feelings. Kai steps closer. You came after my daughter. You threatened the one person in this world I would die for. And now you're going to spend the next 20 years in a cell thinking about that choice. Henley's jaw works. No words come out. The agents push him into the SUV. Door slams. Engine starts. They drive away. Kasim walks over. Stans, besdeki. That was for you as much as for him, wasn't it? Maybe. Feel better? Kai watches the SUV disappear around the corner. Ask me in 20 years. They arrest 6 more people by sunset. City Councilman Devin Fletcher. 3 attorneys. 2 business owners. All part of Henley's network. All complicit in keeping West Briar Heights exactly the way they wanted it. White. Wealthy. Exclusive. By the time Kai picks up Serenity from Dorothy's house, the news is already spreading. Neighbors gathering on lawns. Whispers turning to conversations. Shock giving way to questions nobody wants to answer. Serenity climbs into the car. Buckles herself in. Are the bad people really gone? Yeah, baby. They're really gone. All of them. All of them. She's quiet for a moment. Then what happens now? Kai starts the engine. Now we go home. And then what? And then we live. 3 months later, Kai stands in his backyard. New grass is growing where the old lawn died. Serenity's swing set sits in the corner, yellow paint bright against the green. Her laughter fills the air as she pushes herself higher, higher, her braids flying behind her. Dorothy sits in a lawn chair, watching, smiling. She waves at Kai. He waves back. The neighborhood has changed. Some families moved away. Couldn't handle the shame. Couldn't face the truth about what they'd participated in. Others stayed. Made apologies. Made amends. Made space. New families moved in. Black families. Latino families. Families who would have been turned away 3 months ago. Families who belong. Kai's phone rings. Director Kasim. How's retirement treating you? Kismiles. It's not retirement. It's a leave of absence. Semantics. Point is, you're home with your daughter. That's what matters. Yeah, it is. The trials start next month. You ready to testify? I've been ready since they poured wine on my head. Kasim laughs. Fair enough. One more thing. We found something in Henley's files. A list of other neighborhoods. Other communities where they tried the same thing. Intimidation. Harassment. Keeping people out. Kai's jaw tightens. How many? 12. Across 6 states. All run by judges, councilmen, business owners. All thinking they were untouchable. We're dismantling them. One by one. But it's going to take time. Resources. People who know how these operations work. Kasim pauses. People like you. Kai looks at Serenity. She's laughing. Free. Safe. I'm done, Kasim. I did my part. I know. But think about it. All those families in all those neighborhoods. All those kids who deserve what Serenity has now. Safety. Peace. A chance to just be kids. The line goes quiet. Kai watches his daughter. Watches her swing higher. Watches her smile. I'll think about it. That's all I'm asking. They hang up. Serenity jumps off the swing. Runs over. Daddy, come push me. He walks over. Positions himself behind the swing. You ready? Ready. He pushes. She soars. Her laughter echoes across the yard. Across the neighborhood. Across the space where hate used to live and hope is growing. And for the first time in 8 months, since Amara died, since the world fell apart, since he forgot what it felt like to breathe. Kai Bennett feels something close to peace. Not happiness. Not yet. But peace. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's how you survive. How you rebuild. How you teach your daughter that the world can be cruel and beautiful and worth fighting for. You find peace in the small moments. You protect what matters. You stand up when they expect you to stay down. And you never, ever let them make you believe that silence is the same as surrender. Because it's not. Silence is strategy. Silence is strength. And sometimes, silence is how you survive long enough to win. Serenity jumps off the swing again, runs to the sandbox, starts building a castle. Kai sits in the grass, watches her, smiles. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. His smile fades. Hand moves toward his pocket, toward the gun that's always there now. He answers. Bennett. A woman's voice. Young. Scared. Agent Bennett? My name is Keisha Williams. I live in Hampton Grove, about 60 miles from you. I heard about what you did. About Judge Henley. About how you stood up. Coincidental. How did you get this number? Director Kasim gave it to me. Said you might be able to help. Help with what? Her voice cracks. They're doing it here too. The harassment. The intimidation. My son. He's 6. They cornered him at the park. Told him he didn't belong. Told him to go back where he came from. She's crying now. I don't know what to do. The police won't help. The neighbors won't help. Nobody will help. Kai closes his eyes. Sees Serenity. Sees the wine pouring. Sees the fear in her eyes. Then he sees Keisha's son. 6 years old. Scared. Alone. Where are you right now? Home. With my son. The doors are locked, but I don't feel safe. You're not safe. Not yet. He stands, walks toward the house. But you will be. I'm going to make some calls. Get you protection. And then I'm going to fix this. You don't have to. Yes, I do. His voice is firm. Resolved. Nobody gets to do to your son what they try to do to my daughter. Nobody. She sobs. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me yet. Just stay inside. Stay safe. And whatever happens, don't give up. He hangs up, stands there for a moment, looking at his house, at his daughter, at the peace he just found. Then he makes the call. Kasim. I'm in. You sure? No. But I'm doing it anyway. When do you start? Kai looks at Serenity one more time. She's building her castle, singing to herself. Happy. Safe. Tomorrow. But tonight, I'm with my daughter. Fair enough. I'll send you the files. They hang up. Kai walks back to the sandbox. Sits beside Serenity. Helps her build. Daddy, can we put a flag on top? We can put whatever you want on top. She grins. Hands him a stick. He places it at the castle's peak. She claps. Now it's perfect. He pulls her close. Kisses her forehead. Yeah, baby. Now it's perfect. And in that moment, it is not forever, not without challenges, but perfect enough. Because Kai Bennett learned something these past 3 months. Something he'll carry with him into every fight, every investigation, every neighborhood where families like his are being pushed out, pushed down, pushed away. You don't need to be fearless to fight back. You just need to love something more than you fear losing. And he loves his daughter more than he fears anything. More than he fears the threats. More than he fears the danger. More than he fears what he might become if he keeps fighting. Because she deserves a world where castles don't fall. Where flags fly high. Where children swing without fear. And if he has to tear down every corrupt system, every racist network, every person who thinks power makes them untouchable, then that's exactly what he'll do. One neighborhood at a time. One family at a time. One child at a time. Until every kid gets to build castles in peace. The sun sets over West Briar Heights. Kai and Serenity walk inside. She goes upstairs to wash her hands. He stands in the kitchen, looks out the window at the neighborhood that tried to break him. And he smiles. Because they didn't break him. They just reminded him who he really is. Not a victim. Not a target. A protector. And the fight isn't over. It's just beginning. This is how we rise. This is how we protect what matters. This is how we build a world where every child, no matter their color, their background, their zip code, gets to feel safe. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of your own strength, If it inspired you to stand up when the world expects you to stay down, then share it. Subscribe for more stories that challenge, inspire, and remind us that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about fighting anyway. Drop a comment about a time you had to be brave when everything told you to be silent. Your story matters. Your voice matters. And together, we build something better.